report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull when you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head that deep, tune in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. My name is Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. TK and Heavy D are back in the sound room, and it's the season finale of Season 3 Fish Report Live. Ken, can you believe we made it through Season 3?
3 seasons, Craig. Hard to believe we're coming to the end of May here already. You know, we've covered all the fall sports. We've covered the winter sports. We've covered the spring sports, Craig, and now it's about time for us to take our summer break, recharge our batteries, and see what happens from here.
All right. Well, last week we headed up to Minster, talked a little softball. This week we're going to head back to Minster, but we're talking a little different sport this week, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We're really looking forward, Craig, to talking to Dr. Sunni Olding, the ex-great runner from Minster, Craig, now working in Minster as a chiropractor, and just really looking forward to our phone call with her. And while we're up north, Craig, we're going to talk to the head coach of the Fort Loramie Redskins of the baseball, Bill Sturwold. Bill having another successful season with the Loramie Redskin baseball program. He's got his team in the regional semifinals. They play Convoy Crestview tomorrow night, and we'll be looking forward to talking to Coach Sturwold about that game here in just a little while.
All right. Well, before we get to all that, just like we do every week, have that weekly trivia question. And what do you have for me tonight?
Well, Craig, speaking of Sunni Olding, we all remember her as a great runner, Craig. Back in 2003, she set a state record, Craig, that still stands today in the 3,200-meter run by running a time of 10 minutes and 32 seconds. This record, Craig, at the Division III level, it's been around for 11 years, Craig, and it might be around for a lot longer. So the question is tonight, where did Sunni Olding run her 10:32 record at? Did she run it at Welcome Stadium, Jesse Owens Stadium, Ohio Stadium, or Alexander Stadium?
Okay, well, apparently this was a postseason time then. If you're mentioning those 4 stadiums, she must have been in a big arena for this 10:32.
That's right. So you got Welcome Stadium in Dayton, Jesse Owens, and Ohio Stadium, both in Columbus, and Alexander Stadium in Piqua.
Okay, well, I'm going to need a little help for that one, so I'm going to send this question out on Twitter. Also, if you're watching us on the Fish Report Live page, you can scroll down. The question is on that page. If you can give us an answer there, we will check those answers at the end of the show, see if I can get it right.
All right.
All right, Ken, well, let's get things started. We're going to talk some track, and tonight was the D3 Southwest Regional Championships over there at Troy. Got underway tonight with day 1, and for a report on that, we're going to go back to the sound room, talk to our buddy TK. I know he's on top of that. TK, who locally punched their tickets to state tonight?
All right, Craig, right in from Troy this afternoon or late this evening, in between raindrops. I did get all the events in. The 4x8 will start there with the girls, and looking at Shelby County League, Bodkins girls made a second place finish there to get through. Also locally, Minster and Marion local. On the boys side of the 4x8, again, Anna in second place, and along with him, Minster, another local team that did make it through, so they're state qualifiers. If you look at the field events, a couple items there. Locally in the disc, we have Nick Colby of Russia coming in third place with a toss of 154. So congratulations to Nick with that. And he is a state qualifier. And then a couple other quick ones. We got shot put for the girls, Megan Fote from Anna. And then boys high jump is Logan Const, also from Anna. So that kind of wraps up the local and Shelby County kids that qualified in those events tonight.
All right, well, plenty of locals then to keep our eye on next week at the state competition. And TK, I know you have a little shout out that you wanted to mention tonight too, don't you?
Yeah, I'll take care of that one. Last week at the Shelby County track prelims, senior and a standout runner, Brady Cates, pulled up in the 100-meter with a pulled hamstring. And everybody was expecting Brady to do great things this year in the county tournament. Not only that, but into the districts and the regionals and the state. Well, Brady's season was pretty much over at that point. He did not finish any more Shelby County races, and then did not qualify and did not compete at the district level. Trevor Monin, the Russia sophomore, ended up taking first in a lot of events, and Trevor ended up getting the Shelby County Athletic League Runner of the Year award. And one of the things this week, Trevor wrapped up that medal, gave a little note to Brady Cates, gave it to Dean Stewart, who lives in Russia, and Dean Stewart delivered that medal to Brady Cates, and the note said, Brady, this medal goes to the true Shelby County Athletic League Runner of the Year, sincerely, Trevor Monin. So Trevor gave up his medal to Brady Cates. Nice, classy act by Trevor. I'm sure it's bittersweet for Brady not to be able to compete, but classy move there by Trevor Monin.
Yeah, I agree with that. I saw it last night on Twitter, and it was bouncing all over the place. A lot of people commenting on it, and like you said, class act by Trevor Monin, and just shows the kind of kid he really is. Not only is he fast, but he's also a great kid, and shows a lot of respect for his peers and Brady Cates.
Yeah, pretty neat stuff there. Good story, guys. All right, Ken. Day one's in the books. Then day two's coming up on Friday down there in Troy. Tell me maybe some local individuals we should keep our eye on in girls and boys on Friday.
Well, day two, Craig, at the regional meet in Troy is going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to watching, first of all, Covington's Jackie Seifring. She'll be there in 4 events, Craig. She's got a very good chance of going to Columbus in all 4 events. Rushie's Lauren Heaton also having a fantastic year. Sprinter as well as Jackie. The Minster relays are all very good, as well as Emily Borchers from Russia in the 16 and the 3200 meter runs, and Leah Francis, also a sprinter and a 100 meter hurdler, Craig. Very fast girls, great girls to watch. Along with, we'll throw in New Knoxville's Casey Boyle. Casey's been a distance runner all year. She's having a phenomenal season this year, especially in the 800 and the 1600. So look for Casey Boyle also to make some noise Friday night.
Yeah, she's been running really well. I know Meg Westerheide definitely going to be one to give her a challenge in 800, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see her challenge for wins in both those races. But how about on the boys' side?
Well, boys' side, Minster has a great team, Craig, this year. They're going to be tough to beat in all the relays. Covington's Lane White and Ben Miller, both there in 3 events, both very fast kids in the 400 especially. The 800, Craig's going to be a great race to watch. Always one of my favorite races to watch. It's pretty much an all-out sprint anymore. Rushie's Caleb Ball, Bockins' Austin Jones, Adam Larger from Anna. All with a chance to punch a ticket there. And keep an eye on senior Craig from Lima Central Catholic, Jameer Coleman. He's the fastest guy around, Craig. Expect fun things to watch him in the 100 and the 200. The guy can flat out fly. Yeah,
I think he was the only guy in the district last week that they ran that ran the 100 under 11 at 10.98. I think the record there at Troy's at 10.78. So I'll be keeping my eye on him, no doubt.
Well, you're going to have to, because that boy can fly.
All right, well, Ken, listen, our first guest tonight is very familiar with that Southwest Regional, and that's because she still owns 2 individual records there in the 1600 and 3200, as well as part of the team record in the 3200 relay. During her career at Minster, Ken, from 2000 to 2004, she won 19 state championships.
19.
That's just unbelievable. But let me break that down for you. That's 12 individual titles in track and cross country, 17 titles in track, cross country, and basketball. Her last couple years of high school, I believe she was undefeated in the 1600, the 3200, and that 3200 relay. She still owns the state record in the 3200, as you mentioned in our trivia question tonight. She earned 11 varsity letters at Minster. She went on to run at Notre Dame and Arizona State. I could go on. Most viewers out there remember her as Sunni Olding. She's now Dr. Sunni Olding-Lomnicki. We're happy to have her live on the phone right now. Sunni, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, we're glad you could join us for our season finale tonight. We just read off that impressive high school resume of yours from your days at Minster. Looking back on those years, Sunni, it's been 10 years now. What are a couple things that maybe contributed to your personal success back then?
Oh gosh, most certainly my support group, I would say. My teammates, we had such a great group of dedicated athletes at Minster when I was in high school. Definitely my parents, my coaches. I think we're so fortunate at Minster to have the coaches that we do. Jessie Megato, I kind of credit her with being the mastermind behind a lot of my training. And finally, I guess it was a lot of intrinsic motivation on my part, I think. During my junior and senior year, when I was kind of at the peak of my game, so to speak, I was pretty meticulous about kind of my training, both physical and mental, sleeping, resting, all of that stuff. So I think a lot of these factors set me up for success.
Well, after high school, as I just mentioned, you went on to run at college at Notre Dame and Arizona State. You became a doctor. You got married to your husband, Tyler, and then you just moved back to Minster this past January, where you and Tyler are now both doctors at Minster Chiropractic. Do you have any interest in the Minster sports programs anymore, Sunny, or are you involved with them in any way?
Well, we definitely have an interest in the Minster sports. I still have a lot of cousins and family friends that are in, junior high and high school, and my husband and I spent a lot of time at, different sporting events since moving back. We've been to basketball games and the baseball, football, track, cross country, all that kind of fun stuff. But unfortunately at this time, just kind of with the, long hours with my job and that sort of thing, I'm not directly involved with any of the teams. Maybe something in the future, but right now, like I said, it's just a little bit difficult to kind of fit in with the hours that we work at the clinic and being available for our patients there.
Hi, Sunny. This is Ken Francis. Appreciate you taking time to get on our show tonight. I personally know a couple Russia kids who are now college runners. One of them happens to be my daughter, who have seen you here in the last few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And how are running injuries today similar or different than what they were, say, 10 years ago?
My dad may be a better person to ask about this one, just because I was maybe a little bit, self-involved and only really knew about my own running injuries probably 15 years ago. But I honestly think they're pretty similar. With distance running is kind of a unique animal and the stresses that it puts on the body. So I think, distance running definitely is a unique set of injuries. A lot of stress injuries and kind of repetitive use injuries, but I think they're pretty similar to what we saw 10 to 15 years ago. I know, at least in my own career, we were kind of seeing the same kind of things back then as I see on a daily basis in the clinic now.
We often talk a lot about how athletes today are getting bigger, stronger, and faster. How do you relate bigger, stronger, and faster to more specific injury right now that you see so often in torn ACLs?
Yeah, that's definitely a contributing factor. I'll admit I don't see as many of them in my clinic just because, usually we kind of know what that is up front, and unfortunately that's a surgical case. But definitely with just the power and the strength, like you said, of the athletes, we are getting, those types of injuries, and especially even at younger ages, unfortunately, these days.
Last week we talked to Minster standout softball player Kayla Richard. She's a pitcher on the Minster softball team. She plays several different sports there and is very successful at Minster. Back in your days of high school, you also did 3 sports with track, cross country, and basketball. How did playing multiple sports back then benefit your career as an athlete?
I think it was critical to, my successes in all sports. Unfortunately, with playing multiple sports, especially if, you may be playing 3 sports like volleyball, basketball, and, softball, where they're kind of very skill-involved sports, it does get a little bit time-consuming. Kind of you have a lot of people pulling you in different directions. I was fortunate enough that cross-country and track, similar things apply in those 2 areas. But, sticking with basketball, even when I didn't have as much time to dedicate to the sport, I think was critical in helping my running career, just providing me with different skill sets, with strength, a little bit of speed, power, all of those things kind of carried over into my running. And I also think it helps to prevent injuries in other seasons. We're not stuck doing one particular type of motion during one season and then never getting out of that. So I think that I probably saw it more so in my college career when all I did was run in a straight line for 12 months, 24/7. I ended up with a lot of injuries at that point.
All right, listen, Sunny, one more question, and we'll let you go. But I want to explain to our viewers that I actually ran into you at a clinic that you and your husband, Tyler, were putting on last week at Can't Stop Running there in Piqua.
Yeah.
But during the clinic, Tyler made it a point a couple times to say that you were the runner in the family. He just tries to run. But we're going to show our viewers a picture now on the monitor of you and Tyler at the Chicago Marathon. Now, be honest with me. Was that something that you had to talk him into, or was that his idea?
Well, when we were first dating, he always told me that he used to go running at night and that he ran like 10 miles and all of this stuff. So, I actually thought he was kind of an avid runner, especially with his soccer background. And to be honest, he was pretty gung-ho about this Chicago Marathon in February when you have to sign up. But the race, unfortunately, isn't until October of that same year. So we thought, oh, yeah, we'll have plenty of time to train, and other things kind of got in the way, and we didn't have so much training. So definitely me reassuring him towards the end that we were going to finish this and kind of get through it together. So I'd say it was a mixture, but he made it through, and I was pretty impressed.
Well, if I remember right, he said something about he finished about an hour and a half behind what you probably would have finished. So.
He did slow me down a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I was just happy we made it.
All right, well, listen, that's great stuff. Hey, listen, we're glad you're back in Minster where it all started from for you. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you sometime soon.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thanks, Sunny.
All right, that was Minster alum, Sunni Dr. Sunni Olding-Lomnicki now, and she's hopefully going to do some big things there at Minster. I know she's already doing them with being a chiropractor, but she might get involved in those sports programs and then look out there. So.
That's for sure. I know she's really helping the athletes over there, not just the Minster kids, but like you said, Russia kids, Fort Loramie kids, I'm sure, from all over the area. So she's doing good things in Minster.
You remember her running, Ken? You remember when she ran?
Absolutely.
She always wore those sunglasses. She's a little bit intimidating with those sunglasses on. Then she went out and pretty much beat everybody on the course.
That's right. So she was tough to beat.
All right, well, listen, that's going to do it for the first half of our show. We're going to take a short break, but there's more to come, so stay there. When we come back, we're going to talk some baseball, including that interview with Fort Loramie's coach, Bill Sturwold. We'll be right back.
It's been a year since my baby finally gave up on me. I can't say that I'll blame her. She just got tired of playing losing games. I should suck on my pride and beg that girl to come back home. Deep down I know she's better off, 'cause fools like me are meant to die alone. Someone give me one good reason, one good reason to smile. I'm trying to be that guy my mother prayed that I would be. Some days I
All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. I had some fun there the first half talking to Minster Sunni Olding, but now we're going to talk a little baseball, Ken, and there's still some local teams left in the tournament. We're getting into regional tournaments now, and let's start out talking some Division III, a team that I know you've seen a couple times, the Anna Rockets. They're in action on Thursday, and boy, they got a tough one on their hands, don't they?
Yes, they do, Craig. The Rockets have had a great year under Coach Mike Muehlfeld. They're sitting at 24-6 right now, Craig. I've seen Anna play twice this year against our Russia Raiders, and very good baseball team. And they're going to be taking on a team out of Cincinnati called Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy, CHCA better known as. They're pretty much, Craig, a baseball academy down there. They're led by head coach Jeff Keith, who's very well known throughout summer programs across the country, actually, and led by strong right-handed pitcher Cameron Varga. Cameron can bring it up to the dish around 94 to 95, Craig.
Wow.
And so he's tough to hit. Strikes on a lot of players, but I'm sure Anna will be there ready to go for him. Anna's led by Shelby County League Player of the Year Josh Robinson, so expect him on the hill as well for the Rockets.
I think I saw where Varga actually had a streak where he struck out 33.
33 consecutive batters, correct.
Boy, that is just crazy.
Rockets will put the ball, if they can put the ball in play and keep CHCA off the bases, anything can happen in baseball.
All right, well, let's move to Division IV and talk about, real quick, Covington. They're a team that obviously came to Russia here and snuck one in on us, but they're still winning. And, boy, it's the first time they've been to the regional tournament in a long time, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And, Covington came into the postseason, Craig, I think with 6 wins. Now they've got 10. They've knocked off Botkins, Russia, Lehman, and Cincinnati Christian. And the thing about Covington right now, Craig, in their minds and everybody else's minds down at that Springfield Regional, Covington's 4-0, and that's all that really matters.
That's true. All right, and one more team we're a little bit more familiar with making deep tournament runs in the postseason is the Fort Loramie Redskins. They won state tournament back in 2007, 2010, and the Redskins collide on Thursday with Convoy Crestview at 5 p.m. at Fairborn High School. They're led by their head coach, Bill Sturwold. We're happy to have him live on the phone right now. Coach Sturwold, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, Bill.
We're doing well, and thanks for joining us. Congrats on a great season so far that hopefully has a few more games left. You've been in this position before, but these particular players of yours really haven't been in this position before. How do these guys compare to maybe some of your teams of the past, say, from 2007 or 2010?
Well, they're starting to take advantage of the other team's mistakes. It took us a little while to put it together this year, but the kids, they got 30 games under their belt, so those kids that are sophomores, they got juniors experience now, and juniors are playing like seniors now. So I look for us to go down there. If we relax and play like we know how, I think we'll give them all we can get a pretty good ball game.
Coach, hi, this is Ken. I was actually at your game a couple, the sectional final game actually against Triad. Went there for 2 reasons. Number one, I wanted to watch your Fort Loramie Redskins, as well as I wanted to watch Triad pitcher Doug Lowe. Had heard and read a lot about him. He looked great, but you guys hung tight. Grant pitched a great game for you and kept the Redskins in the game, and then you took advantage of some of his wildness late in the game. Luke Gephardt stepping to the plate, big situation there. He was due, and bottom of the 7th. Did it surprise you when Luke came through?
Luke actually, he struck out, but he had some great at bats against Lowe. He fouled off like 3 or 4 the first at bat against him, and actually I think he fouled 2 of them off the umpire, and he called strike 3 on the outside pitch just to get him out of there because he was bruised up. But we've seen plenty of left-handers. I mean, well, we've seen your son Nolan. We've seen Bargy at Versailles, the kid from Elida, and Lowe. And so we've seen some pretty good left-handers, and we're going to see another one. So I feel like our kids are going to battle pretty well.
Well, that's a good point. You have seen a lot of left-handers throughout the regular season and also in the postseason as your Redskins prepare for Convoy Crestview's left-hander, Damian Helm. Damian, one of the top players that led the Knights in basketball. He's also very talented in baseball. And like Craig mentioned, you take on Crestview tomorrow night. They've been there before. They actually played Russia in the regional finals last year. What do you tell your kids coming into this game? They're a team with a lot of experience. How do you prepare your team for the Knights?
Well, we just go in there and relax and play ball. If you're uptight, you're going to be uptight and not play well. Our kids are going to be relaxed. I look for us to play a solid ball game. Like you said, they went 29-0. They won the state in boys basketball, so they're not going to be nervous. It's not going to be too big of a venue for them at all. And they're more than Damian Helm, too. I mean, Etzler's unbelievably fast. Owens is great behind the plate. And I think they're hiding their 9-hitter. Their 9-hitter would bat lead off about everybody around here. They're just athletic all the way through.
Hey, Coach, talk about your pitching a little bit. Coming into the season, we knew about junior Grant Oberding, but you have a sophomore there, Connor Rose. He was kind of a question mark at the beginning of the year. How effective are those two guys as pitchers?
Grant's come along. He's starting to get command of his breaking ball, and he's pitched very well for us. Now the rest of the guys, Connor's had some good games, and he's had some so-so games, and he keeps us in the game. He's a strike thrower, and if Grant's struggling, we'll go to Connor pretty quick, and we'll see how it shakes out. I told the kids you can't take anything personal because you got to make quick decisions, because if you wait 5 seconds, all of a sudden that's 2 more runs. So we just got to make sure we got a pitcher on the mound that's going to keep the momentum in our dugout and throwing strike one, getting ahead of the hitters, and making routine plays behind him.
Hey, Coach, we got one more question here. We're kind of running out of time, but I want to ask you, graduation was this past weekend, so all the kids are out of school. Now that the guys are out of school, are the boys more focused, or are you worrying about them losing their focus coming into the regional tournament?
They're more focused. I gave them the weekend off after we beat Arcanum Memorial Day weekend with all the graduations and stuff like that, just to take give your mind and body 3-day break. And boy, the energy level at practice yesterday was very good, and a little disappointed it rained today, but we got hit in the cage, but we'll be ready to get after it tomorrow.
Hey, Coach, we want to take just a minute to thank you a lot for taking time tonight to join us on our show. And from us here at Russia, wish you the best of luck and represent Shelby County League well and get a W tomorrow.
All righty. Thank you, Kenny.
Thanks,
Craig.
Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, that was the head coach of the Fort Loramie Redskins, Bill Sturwold, and definitely pulling for the Redskins tomorrow night. And, Ken, we're going to change balls here from baseball to softball real quick. One more local team that we're pulling for is the only local team left in the softball tournament, the Division 4 softball tournament. That's the Minster Wildcats. Talked to them last weekend. Like to see them get a W as well.
Yes, for sure. They play Felicity Franklin, the team that knocked Fort Loramie out. Play them tomorrow night in the regional semifinals at Tip City. So Minster's been highly ranked all year, Craig. I think they'll be there ready to play.
All right. Well, before we close things out tonight, we're going to close with our last trivia question of the year. Why don't you read it to me again? I'm going to check with the guys back there and see what they got on the telemetrics.
All right, Craig. Back in 2003, Sunni Olding ran a state record in the 3,200-meter run of 10 minutes and 32 seconds. Which stadium did she run that at? Welcome Stadium, Jesse Owens Stadium, Ohio Stadium, or Alexander Stadium?
All right, well, let's go back to the sound room. And, guys, help me out here a little bit. I'm a little confused on this one, or a little unsure.
Yeah, looking at the telemetrics, which I think that might be a made-up word. But anyhow, Welcome Stadium has a 55% hit rate. Jesse Owens, 22%. And out of the 1,000 people that hit the poll, Alexander Stadium in Piqua had a 22%. Ohio Stadium was 0.
Well, can you bring that picture of Sunny up again that you showed earlier of her running? Can you bring that up? I'm looking there in the background, and I don't know if that's where she ran that record time, but that field, that's either the old Ohio Stadium or it's Welcome Stadium. And I don't know. With the blue there, I'm going to guess that's Welcome Stadium. I got my buddy KB, who always texts me every week. He's saying Dayton. Ken, I'm going with Dayton.
Well, Craig, the telemetrics was right. KB was right.
All right.
You're right. I done a lot of research on that question, and, Welcome Stadium it was. They actually held the 2003 state championship was in Welcome Stadium.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good way for me to end the season, and I want to go back to the sound room one more time, guys. I know we've done a lot of shows this year, had a lot of guests on season 3. Do you have a tally on what we've done this year?
Let's look at the count here, Craig. We've got 32 shows under our belt this season, and 138 guests. That is hard to believe.
That's a lot of dialing for TK.
And we nailed every one of them.
Yeah, we
Yep,
sure did.
for
That's
sure.
right.
You guys deserve a little high five back here, Ken and I. We're gonna high five it up here. Good job, partner. And that's
right.
going to wrap it up for us. We're going to take the summer off like we do every year. We're going to see everyone back in the fall again. So until then, have a great summer, everyone, and good night.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pole. When you tune in to the fish report, hanging at the fish report.